The research that Jump and Harley did together was not only focused on Harley communities, but also looked more broadly at communities in general and what makes for a successful community. And so in addition to looking at the roles that people play within communities and the needs that they're trying to get met, we also came up with some insights about the ways that people affiliate within community. And those are really broadly applicable to other brands and other community building situations. So what we found was that people engage in communities in three ways: through pools, webs, and hubs. And in pools, people have loose associations with each other, but a strong association to a shared goal or values or activity. And then in webs, people have really strong connections to other members of the community. And then in hubs, people have strong connections to a central figure, but loose associations with other members. So political parties are a pool, and social networks are a web, and celebrity fan clubs are a hub. Brand communities are based on a pool model. So you make the values of the brand explicit, and then people affiliate with those values. What's interesting, though, is if you can start building webs within your pool, it makes for a much stronger community. Hubs can be tricky for brands because a hub can bring new members into the pool and expand your pool, but at the same time a hub can break off and take people away. So if you can find hubs with similar values, then you can use those to expand your brand community pool. An example of using a pool to then build webs to make for a stronger community is the Harley-Davidson Museum. The Harley-Davidson Museum will be a third place kind of community that creates a pool of shared meaning. And the museum will be a place for existing Harley enthusiasts to come and strengthen their bonds with the brand, but it will also be a place for the curious to come and get a taste of the experience, and in that way expanding the Harley brand community. But there are also many features designed into the museum to start incubating webs and making for a stronger community. So an example of that is the rivet wall. So there will be walls scattered throughout the museum grounds that display 3-inch customized stainless steel rivets. And anyone can go to the Harley website and order their rivet with their personal message engraved upon it. So now what does this do? When I go to the museum, I'm going to go and find my rivet. And then I'm going to look at the rivets around and see what stories they're telling. And then when you come up to the museum to visit your rivet, I'm going to ask you, what does it say? And you're going to ask me what mine says, and all of a sudden, we're making a personal connection. And then if you multiply that times hundreds of thousands of visitors a year, and then multiply that by dozens of programs, you can see that you can really start to use programs to incubate webs within your pool of meaning. And that's not an online social network, but it is a way of forming webs. We talked about using pools to incubate webs. Then there's the question of hubs. What do we do with hubs? And hubs can be tricky for brands depending on their brand values. For a brand like Harley-Davidson that's all about authenticity and independence and individuality, the idea of aligning with a charismatic central figure isn't necessarily a brand fit unless you can find really the right values. And an example of that is professional skateboarder Heath Kirchart, who contacted Harley a few years ago to share his passion for the brand. And Harley said, great, let's stay in touch. Let's see if we can do something together. The next time Heath and his skate team America went out on tour, they decided to make it a cross-country ride on Harley motorcycles. And they made a film of their experience called The Wild Ride. And they sent a copy into Harley, and Harley said, hey, this is really neat. Can we put it on our website? And they did. Well, what's great about that is Heath and America have a really big fan base. And now when those guys and gals see this video on the Harley website, they're going to start to think, wow, okay, Harley skating, maybe there's some connection there. Maybe I should check it out. So that's using a pool with very similar values to kind of expand the brand community into new areas.